you very much. Thank you all for coming. This is really a nice turnout, and I'm very appreciative, certainly, of the media coverage as well. A couple other things that I'd like to do is I'd like to thank the student athletes. You guys, you were the best. You were patient. I really appreciate the fact that you had such leadership and maturity for us. And when you visited with Coach Walseth, she was thoroughly impressed. So to our student athletes, thank you very, very much. To the search committee, to Delane, Jane, Matt, and to Laura, thank you very much. It was a bit of a whirlwind, but all in all, I think it was a positive experience and a learning experience for the 5 of us. To the athletic department and athletic staff, you guys, you're the best. You really make a difference, and I think Maren can testify to that, that it really was a lot of your skill, your competencies, the support that you give, everything that makes us uniquely different at North Dakota State, in my mind's eyes, because of the quality of the people that we have, and in particular to our athletic staff. So to each and every one of you, thank you very much. Dean, thank you very much for everything. But I want to thank Jean before I skip over to the Mr. President. We really got a lot of kudos on this one, Jean, and you got your kudos on Dave. So I think we're going to have 2 outstanding people roaming the sidelines, and by gosh, pat yourself on the back, Taylor, huh? Because I'm certainly patting myself on my back. So thank you for everything that you do. Certainly, President Prashani, thank you very, very much. Your support obviously is greatly appreciated. And if you don't know it, he has a soft spot in his heart for women's athletics. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. You know, and it almost goes without saying, I think anyone that's seen Coach Walseth's resume wouldn't say, why'd she get the job? They'd say, wow, we got lucky getting her. But I did have the pleasure of visiting with Coach before the hire, and I asked a pretty simple question of what's it take to win? And I got an impromptu dissertation on exactly what it takes to win in Division I college women's basketball. It was impressive, and it made me instantly confident. It also set me up really well with Lynn, who soon after said, well, how'd she do? And I said, I just don't think so. She didn't know anything about the game. Lynn's face fell off. I said, Lynn, hire the woman, please. Coach, it is a pleasure to have you here, and to help you get started, I'd like to offer a little gift to you.
Excellent. Excellent. I like these. Orange Ball has taken me a lot of places, and I'm excited to bring it here.
Excellent. It's all you.
Before I'm going to visit, or you can visit with Maren, I guess just a couple other things that I'd like to share with you is really how Maren ended up here. It was really a fun search process. Believe it or not.
It was fun for you?
Yeah, believe it or not. We looked at the top 25 programs in the country at Division I NCAA and said, you know what? Off that list of the top 25 programs, we're going to find ourselves a head coach. Surely, we looked at the region because it was important for us from a recruiting standpoint. Where was the geographic fit? So before we know it, the top 25 got narrowed to our geographic footprint. Certainly the Big Ten came to mind. We already knew if we looked at the top 25, we had 25 successful programs. And then we said within that program, how many of them would have associations with the Midwest, Minneapolis, North Dakota, South Dakota? What was that footprint going to look like? So we began again to narrow our pool. Leadership was critically important to us. Leadership not only on the floor and off the court and in the classroom, but certainly leadership in terms of modeling of behavior. Like all of our coaches, we respect that as an attribute, and we respect that as a trait. And the last part that was important to me was the ability to transition. And I think Maren perhaps has said it the very best. We have a storied past at North Dakota State University with our women's program, and it has fallen on some hard times. So was there a coach out there that had the sense of knowing perhaps to have the winning formula? What was that template of success going to look like? Well, when we went through the checklist, time and time again, Maren kept coming up to the top. Time and time again, she kept fitting each of the check marks that we needed. The biggest challenge was we couldn't get to Maren. Why? Because of the success of Penn State program. And that's the reason why I thanked our student athletes. It started with the Big Ten. Still couldn't visit with her. First round of the playoffs. Got a little bit of an opportunity, but still hadn't had the conversation. Then they're off to regionals. They win the first 2 at home, and before we know it, she's off to Stanford at the Sweet 16. So it was never because we didn't know who we wanted. It was because of the success of the continuation of her program. So today, I'm very pleased and exceptionally grateful to be able to announce to you the 10th coach for the women's program at North Dakota State University, Maren Walseth, and thank you very much and best wishes. You're
Thank
going
you.
to be a tremendous addition to our program.
Thank you. Thank you. I did put some words together here. I've never done this before, so if I leave somebody out or don't include something, it's not intentional. It's because they don't tell you how to do this. But first of all, thank you to Lynn and to Mr. Taylor and to President Bashani for all of your support and your desire to seek me out and to ask me all the hard questions. I appreciate it. I'm well aware of the rich tradition here at NDSU, and I'm honored and excited to carry the torch for the next few years. I think there's a very, very, very bright future. Working for a president who understands and genuinely supports not only athletics but women's athletics is very, very unique, and I am privileged to be in this situation. I want to thank Coach Coquise Washington, the Penn State administration, and the Lady Lion basketball program for preparing me for this day. As a student athlete and then an assistant coach, I spent 12 years in Happy Valley, and the decision to leave was a very, very hard one. I wasn't looking to leave, yet Lynn had to come and find me, and she eventually pulled me away. I also want to thank my families who is here today. My parents, Dan and Chris, have supported my basketball endeavors since I was in 3rd grade down in the cities in my BAA program. Without their love and support, I certainly would not be here today. They made it to many Penn State games over the years, and I can only imagine how many NDSU games they're going to make it to, being only 3.5 hours away. My sisters are also here today, Annika and Hasai. Annika played for Coach Ruley, and for the first time in my life, I am following in her footsteps. And this is very unfamiliar territory. Throughout this process, the last 10 days or so, Annika and her husband Tom, who played football here, have been very, very encouraging, supportive, and have been my go-to research people as far as what does this mean, who is that, how did we get here? So for that, thank you very much. To the search committee, the members of the athletic department, and the ladies on the women's basketball team. When I met you all in my interview last week, you were all very open and honest and excited about what the future holds here. To me, it was all about the right fit. When recruiting prospective student athletes, we as coaches are always looking for the right kids, the right fit. And I felt the same way about the opportunity here. The more I learned, the more I felt like this could be the right fit. When I came on campus last week, again, I felt there was a good fit for me. What do I mean by that? NDSU has an environment where academics and athletics are equally as important, and with a strong expectation of winning. Last night I had dinner with the team, and they were fantastic. We laughed and smiled and started to get to know each other. It was great. I know they are eager to get out in the community, they're eager to get in the gym, and they're eager to win. I realize there will certainly be some challenges ahead, and there will be some speed bumps, but we're in this together, girls. Especially Bree, Brooke, and Marina for being here. You could have gone home, maybe, maybe not. It would have been a quick trip, but I appreciate you being here. The other ladies are at home or on their way home to visit with their families for the Easter holiday. Completely support that. The season's a long season, so their opportunity to get away, I completely understand. But the three of you, thank you for coming. To the community and the alums, I'm very much looking forward to engaging with all of you. I know that the team is eager to be active and support the community that has, over the past years and through history, been very supportive of this program. I look forward to getting to know and connect with all the alums. Being an alum at Penn State and then working there, I understand the commitment and what is needed and what is expected and what is wanted, and we will work diligently here for the current student athletes and the future student athletes to certainly recognize and know their history. We will work each and every day to make all of you in this room and this community proud. We're going to be a work in progress, but I'm super excited to be here. What happens next? Again, they don't tell you, they don't give you a roadmap. Dave, what happens next? How does this go?
Go ahead and open up for questions.
Coach, you put out some pretty elite players at Penn State in recent years. Is there a common trait you look at in a player for recruiting?
Obviously, we need to look at skill sets and what pieces fit what we're trying to do. But outside of what you can actually do on the basketball court, I think recruiting winners is very, very important. Winning looks like a whole lot of different things, but winning breeds success. Winning breeds winning. Success breeds success, and that's a very important characteristic, as well as going after student athletes with high academic integrity and high moral character. We get to choose who we coach and who we are around and who we bring to this program, and bringing the highest caliber of those student athletes is very, very important.
Coach, what do you remember from your sister's time playing?
I remember flying into Minneapolis, getting in a car, driving to Green Bay, watching one game, driving back in a terrible snowstorm. That's my one memory. And I have to say that because of our age difference, I was a coach. I was, first of all, I was overseas when she was in college, then I was a coach. They never wanted to schedule us. We didn't want to schedule them. Whatever. That's somebody else's issue. But my sister has seen way more of my games than I have seen of her. But that at Green Bay, I don't even know if you won or lost. But I was full. I was full in my NDSU clothes with my family and whatnot. That's my.
Dan, what was the score? We won.
I don't remember.
Coach, is there a trait with your teams when you were coaching at Penn State, or what would you like to bring to NDSU when they're out on the floor?
I'm very comfortable playing a very up-tempo, fast-paced offense. I think that's what players these days want to play in. They want to play free. They want to play more of a motion as opposed to a set, walk the ball up the court, look at the sideline, and direct traffic. That's how we played at Penn State and was very successful. Defensively, really playing aggressive defense, creating turnovers, creating havoc. If we can get a steal and a turnover and score before anybody gets down the court, that's the easiest layup we're going to get all game. That's my vision. That's what where I want to get to. Working with what we have on the court right now, it's going to be a work in progress and putting those players in the situations to be successful. But definitely a fast-paced, up-tempo game that fans want to see. I think that's important.
Your Penn State team was also very tall. Do you want to make NDSU a tall team?
I think I'd like to, yes. But again, it's finding pieces of the puzzle and what works best here. I told the story to somebody else earlier today. When we played in the Final Four, I was the tallest. Me and Andrea Gardner were the tallest post players, and I am the shortest of the post players at Penn State currently. Times have changed. People, the kids have certainly grown, but looking to bring some height to the program and is something that I'll certainly look to do. But that tall post player certainly got to be able to run and get up and down the floor. We're not going to have a tall, plodding post player. That's not going to play into the system well at all. But yes, we'll add a little bit of height.
Maren, any decisions on your assistants?
Final decisions? No, I have not come to final decisions yet. That is a work in progress. And to me, finding the right people to surround this program is more important than having people in the seats tomorrow.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in connecting with the fan base? This was a team that always drew tremendous crowds for women's basketball. It's dwindled in the past few years. How do you reconnect with the fan base?
Really, it's getting out and making myself visible and making myself accessible, making the staff accessible as well as the players. I don't see it as a huge challenge. I think it's just going to take time. A great similarity between Penn State and where I've been the last 7 years and here. One of the common themes there is a smaller town with a great support for women's athletics and specifically women's basketball. I know that here the fans, as a lot of people have mentioned, really want to support winning programs and the women's basketball program. And I want to meet those people. I want to build relationships so they want to come in the gym.
Any chance, are you going to bring any more players in? Have you looked at that as far as your roster? Is there any opportunity for that?
I believe there is opportunity as far as scholarships are concerned, but again, bringing in the right people is more important than having a certain number of people. So we will certainly go through the recruiting process. We do have a recruiting weekend here coming up, but building relationships with the recruits, that takes time. I want to make sure that the right kids come into the program, not just somebody to fill a spot.
Maren, this is a big transition period for the program. What's your vision? How did you sell yourself in saying, I can take this program from 6 wins to 20?
I think it didn't just happen in one conversation, but over the course of learning what NDSU is all about, the people, the young ladies involved in the team, also some of the facilities and where the commitment is in that respect, certainly kept me wanting to ask more questions and ask more questions. And really everything that I've heard has been very positive. I think that there's been great success here, women's basketball in the past, as we've talked about, but also with the football team and the men's basketball team, that the community is behind here, and the athletic department, but the NDSU community wants people to be successful. And I know you guys are going to laugh at me and you think it's crazy. Not every place is like that. Not every place is willing to commit financial dollars, human resources to their women's basketball program. And that's a huge hurdle that other places have to overcome. And that most certainly is not the case here, which makes it a very attractive situation to come in and kind of build it back up. So it was an exciting opportunity.
Have you spoken with the current players that have signed the incoming freshmen for 2014? Have you visited with them yet?
We have communicated via text, and that's certainly something that I'll be doing this weekend. But my first priority was the young ladies that are here on campus, and I was able to do that last evening. And now reaching forward and having more dialogue with the incoming kids is next on the priority list.
President Rashani kind of mentioned part of the dissertation about winning. What are a couple of the key points to that?
That's to you.
I know, what did I say? No.
Help me.
No, I really think that winning is a learned skill. It's not something that just happens. It's not because you're just talented, all of a sudden you know how to win. There's chemistry involved. There's the understanding of what a good shot versus a great shot is. There's a patience and a confidence amongst your teammates. It's not just one. It's not just, winning is not just one piece. And I think the young ladies on the team have bits and pieces of it, but getting everybody together on the same page and really challenging ourselves is going to be a task, but a fun one at the same time.
A lot of things seem to happen, Maren, between, the season never really ends, and you come into a program, there's like a million things you have to do. What are the first 2 or 3 things that you kind of have to be taken care of here? Because I know your head's probably spinning around thinking, okay, I got to do this, and that.
Sure, there's certainly a lot that goes into this, but my number one priority was meeting with the girls and starting the process of getting to know them. They all came to NDSU for another vision and with somebody else's leadership in mind. So really gaining their trust, them getting to know me as a person, is a work in progress, but that was number one. Reaching out to the community who so richly supports the program is high on the list. Recruiting is high on the list. Eventually I'd like to eat and find a place to live as well. So those things are all coming. I don't know that I can say that there's 1 or 2 that are any more important, because the reality of it is this job has a lot of aspects to it and they all needed to be tended to simultaneously. So Dave has been so nice as to hand the firing hose that's shooting water out at 1,000,000 miles an hour to direct it off of him and onto me. So it's coming fast and furious, but that's exciting at the same time. There's a lot that's going on.
Going along with that too, is it weird to think, most coaches come in and say, okay, I know my venue, which you really don't have a venue. Is it kind of strange to walk into a situation where you really don't have a home gym for the next 2 years? I mean, you do, but you don't,
Certainly, and I don't think there's a template or an owner's manual on how to operate in that capacity. But Lynn and Jean and the people that I've talked to in the administration have been very open about the question marks that are there. I don't particularly see that as a huge hurdle. It's our reality. It's my job to make it the best for these young ladies for the next 2 years. We're going to be doing things different from day to day because we don't know what's happening. Nobody's above mopping the floor. Nobody's above putting the baskets down or bringing the balls out. I think we're in this together, and that's a unique situation, and that brings the camaraderie and the community values together. That wouldn't happen at a large school. You have people that do that for you. And in situations like that, your head can get too big for yourself. You can think that you're better than somebody else. And I think me coming in, as a new person here to the community and to this team, I think it'll be good for us to all kind of be on the same level. That we all have to chip in, and just because you're a senior, yeah, you're going to have to do something. And because you're a freshman, we're going to ask you to do something too. I'm sure there'll be days that it's harder, and I'm going to scratch my head and wonder what the heck. But but I'll lean on the other coaches that are going through some of the similar issues, and we'll get through it. Because at the end of the day, we got a nice new center coming in a couple years. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Any other questions? All right, keep going coming. Good day.
Thank you very much. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.